Hello and welcome back to my channel. With the leaves falling from the trees and the temperature dropping day after day, it's about time for a bunch of Hocus Pocus. In this case, the Hocus Pocus being a 1940s style shirt with the Sanderson sisters on it. So this is the pattern I'm going to be doing. It's Wearing History R129. It's technically it's a blouse and a skirt combination, but I'm just going to make this short-sleeved blouse. I'm probably going to do it without the pockets on the chest, just because I don't love how those usually look. And then if you look at the line art, you can see that it has a curved hem on the sides. Because I don't always want to wear this tucked into something, I'm probably going to modify those so that they just hang straight down, keeping the slits so that it still has a little bit of give, like around the hip area. It really wants to focus on her face. So I'm not going to be doing a mock-up of this pattern because I don't feel like it. And then, this is the best part. This is my fabric. It's a quilting cotton technically, but I don't care. So it has all of the Sanderson sisters on it, as well as like a cute little like skull and bones motif and like little stars. So I think it's gonna make a really cute button down. So this has already been pre-washed. I'm just gonna go iron it and then I will be back. The first thing to do was to cut out the pattern. I did this on the largest size for each piece because I want to be able to do any size in the future. I then traced the size that I chose and made my adjustments to it. Okay, so I'm just going to make this a pointed hem because I don't want the curved one really, or a more pointed hem at least. Not exactly a straight line, but close enough. This and do the same thing here. Okay, that's where my thing's gonna be. It says to leave it free up to this point, but I may take it a little lower just because if this is the waistline, that's a really big cut. Like I may take it more to like here instead. Next up, it was time to cut my fabric. After some preparation of the pieces, including stay stitching and overcasting any edges that wouldn't be enclosed in the shirt, it was time to gather the back. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be doing is gathering the back section down between here and here. And then that gathered section is meant to fit between the two notches in the back of the bottom of the yoke. Okay, so I have gathered the back down and pinned it to the yoke facing. I just think egg yolk, but it's not. And I'm gonna just stitch this down and attach it to the front piece at the shoulders and then attach the actual yoke. Next I had to prepare my outer yoke piece to have a lapped seam, so I folded up the bottom edge by a ½ inch because that is my seam allowance and pressed it. then pinned it to the shirt and stitched it on. I folded back the front facings, pressed them, and stitched them down at the top. Time for some sleeves. I pinned each sleeve to its corresponding notches and then eased them in. And stitched them down. Okay, so the next step, according to the instructions, is to do the underarm and side seams. However, I am going to hem my sleeve first so that part of that edge just gets tucked in, because I'm going to do French seams, and then on to the collar after that. Alright, so got that done. I'm going to press this and then do the side seam. Okay, so I have my side seams all pinned up. I'm going to sew these with really tiny seam allowance, and then I also took the side seam 1 inch down from where it was. It has kind of a high side slit, I think, because typically this would have always been tucked in, but I would like to have the option to wear it not tucked into something and not necessarily have like an undershirt on, and like be exposing literally all of my side. So I'm gonna stitch this together and then flip it around and do it again, and then my side seam will be done. Okay, so I'm going to do the collar now. We've got a thin layer of, I almost said insulation, of interfacing. So I have a thin layer of interfacing, and then I've got my collar pieces right sides together. Just gonna stitch around the edge, excluding the bottom, and after that, flip it right side out and press it, and then attach it to the shirt. But not before trimming my seams and clipping my corners. Okay, so the collar is a little bit interesting. I've never done a shirt with a collar before, so there was a little bit of easing involved, but basically what I've done is I've pinned the underside of the collar to the back of the shirt, and then going to pin the front facing, lining up the notches, to the technically top of the collar, so like the part you'll actually see, and then turn this inside out, and most of the collar will then be finished. The rest of it I'm just going to end up stitching in to here once I've got this done, and then the entire collar will be done. Alright, here goes nothing. Okay, so this is what we've got so far. I've got the collar on, except for this back part, but that's going to get attached in a couple of minutes. I've got both sleeves done and hemmed. So this next step is going to be to fold and press the front edges back, and then after that, buttonholes and buttons. Okay, so I've got the front facings folded back and pressed on both sides. So I need to remark my buttonholes because they're not super visible, and then I will do those, and I'm sure it'll be about done. So I need to pick some buttons. I've got a fairly good collection, but a lot of them are too large, or like these are the wrong color, like they look kind of funny on here. So I've got these three options. We have like a shimmery sort of a shell imitation. We have matte black, which are kind of fun, and then we have like a grayish colored horn style button. So I just need to pick which ones, and I think these ones are too shiny. I think I kind of like how the horn ones look, so I think I'm gonna use these. Okay, time for the buttonholes. There is something just magical about a buttonhole foot. I know that seems silly, but man, do I love this thing. Look at that. So all I have to do is cut this open. Well, I have to do 3 more and cut it open. And then time for the buttons. Okay, so this is the last step before I hem. I'm just smoothing out the collar towards the shirt, folding this under. I'm gonna pin it. I'm gonna do this all along the collar and then sew right as close to this edge as I can. It won't really be noticeable because it'll be like back in the very back of the collar. So I'm just gonna finish this that way, hem it, and it'll be done.
I put a spell on you, and now you're mine.
Thank you for tuning in, and subscribe if you want to see more projects like this in the future. See you next time.